On this special day, we're covering the main character of Persona 3. As the nameless protagonist, he can be given any name you want, but most people either go with his manga name Minato Arisato or his quote-unquote canon anime name Makoto Yuki, while everyone else just calls him P3MC. With that, here are my reasons why P3MC is door material. Spoiler warning for the plot of Persona 3. Appearance-wise, he's got bold blue eyes and long blue hair, which often covers his right eye. It's kinda amazing you can still see through that. Generally, he can be seen wearing the Gakukan High School uniform, along with some clip-on earphones and a lanyard MP3 player. Man, this game's old. Orphaned at a very young age, he has a very neutral perspective on life and doesn't care much about the idea of death. If I had to associate one word with the movie version of P3MC, it would have to be apathy, defined as a lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. Basically, he don't give a f***. First off, the idea of taking trains late at night doesn't bother him at all. Then when the dark hour hits, his music player dies and all the lights go out. Oh, and giant coffins suddenly replace the people on the streets. Yet somehow he's able to walk around like nothing strange happened. When he arrives at the dorms, he was suddenly greeted by a ghost-like young boy in prisoner stripes, who apparently can teleport. While most people would be freaking out right now, Makoto Yuki here straight up signs a contract with the ghost boy. An important contract that allows him access to the Velvet Room. In this sacred place, he gains the assistance of Igor the pointy-nosed man and forms a close bond with Elizabeth, the attendant for his journey. His little dates with Elizabeth usually comes in the form of him showing her everyday human stuff and her being fascinated by it.
I can't get out. My first priority is to visit something called a manga cafe and obtain the foodstuff known as a smoothie bar.
In the end, these two get close, and I mean really close.
Even I am not blind to the significance of calling upon a gentleman in his own room. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like you to guide me through it.
As seen on the C's team, they all use gun-shaped evokers to summon their personas. In order to use evokers, they need to willingly accept the idea of dying, which is something Yukari struggled with at first, but not Makoto. During the first battle on the rooftop, Yukari hesitated and got knocked away. Makoto then picks up her evoker, and without a clue on how it works, shoves it onto his head, which is pretty insane if you think about it. After that stunt, he ends up in the hospital and wakes up blunt as ever. It's clear that this level of apathy is enough to piss off the likes of Yukari. A few days later, Itsuki asks Makoto if he could believe that a day consists of more than 24 hours. To most people it sounds crazy, but Makoto answers a blunt yes. And when asked to join the Seas, he just outright accepts it without question. As the chosen wildcard, Makoto can summon multiple personas, with his main one being Orpheus, the legendary musician. However, as seen on the rooftop, his persona goes berserk and turns into this terrifying beast of a persona, foreshadowing a greater power within him. Despite being the new kid in the Seas group, Mitsuru assigns him to be the field leader, since, well, he's kind of a badass. During the time when Fuka was shoved into the closet and forced to enter Tartarus, the rest of the Seas team charged in while Makoto was left on guard duty. This was definitely a big mistake as the party was later wiped out by the two shadow bosses. Fortunately, Makoto comes to the rescue in style. And with the power of friendship, the team lives to fight another day. Taking a quick break to talk about Persona 3 dancing. As the leader of the team, Makoto has to partake in the dancing as well, and to be honest, this is the one time I've seen him this animated. His costume generally builds off of his school uniform, except that he wears a printed silver shirt and a bright blue stripe on the jacket sleeve. Like everyone else, he has his own pair of headphones, but is rocking some sick rainbow dotted kicks. Outside Tartarus, Makoto is generally a quiet guy, but very kind, as seen by his willingness to help Fuka pick up her books. Like the other protagonists, he has a social link for every arcana, where he helps people solve their issues, while at the same time growing stronger. Unique to Makoto is his willingness to play MMORPGs. During the Hermit social link, he plays an online game and meets a new friend. This new friend then gives him the username of Tatsuya, while she goes with the username of Maya, which is a clear reference to the often left out Persona 2. Maya even praises him for his excellent spelling and punctuation online. In the end, we learn that this online friend isn't some guy in his mother's basement, thank goodness, but is instead Miss Toriumi, his homeroom teacher. Now, aside from the internal anxiety of losing his friends, not much really phases the guy. While out looking for clues at Port Island, Makoto was confronted by a thug, to which he made a hilarious comment about his nose ring, then dodged the punch like a pro. Poor Junpei. As if that wasn't enough, later on Junpei gets charmed by the enemy and Makoto slaps him back into reality. Savage. It's not like Makoto can't take a hit as well, as he somehow saw Yukari in a bath towel and lived.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Makoto has certainly seen his fair share of weird stuff. For one thing, he doesn't question how Elizabeth has $1,000,000 sitting in her purse. And best of all, he doesn't judge her strange dancing. While playing through the social links, it's been shown that Makoto only dates females. But somehow, I'm not so sure where his interest lies. When they were at the beach, the girls made their swimsuit debut, with Mitsuru looking particularly stunning. The Seas boys were all over her, well except for Makoto, because crabs are cool I guess. For a guy devoid of feelings, you'd think he doesn't have a chance with the girls, but quite the opposite actually. For example, in both Persona 4 and 5, when close to maxing out a social link with a girl, you get the choice of going through the romance option, or simply friendzoning her, which is important for avoiding some disastrous fates. In Persona 3, this so-called friendzone doesn't exist. So if you want to max out all your social links, then you're essentially forced by the game to build a harem, making him quite the Chad, except for the fact, well, he's a door. So for those of you that don't know why he's called a door, during the final battle, after hearing Nick spout the same line for the nth time, the situation started to look bad, like really bad. At this point, Makoto realizes the importance of protecting his friends, even if it means his life. He then lifted himself into the abyss to battle the final form of Nyx, which seemed futile at first, but with the power of friendship, he was able to find the answer to life and sacrifice his life essence to become the Great Seal, thus stopping the end of the world, or something like that. Fast forward to the answer, the crew finally gets to see the actual Door-kun, and finds out that Makoto became the Great Seal not to stop Nyx, but to prevent Erebus, the manifestation of human grief, from reaching Nyx, which would cause the end of the world to happen again. Going back to the ending of the journey, after the Great Seal incident, Makoto is somehow able to hold out for a whole month, just so that he can fulfill the promise of meeting everyone on graduation day. Agus is the first one to find him and offers a lap pillow. Thankfully, the others were able to remember his sacrifice and arrive right as he fades away and the credits roll. So what do you think about P3MC? Would you sign up to become a door like him? Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment about P3MC, our favorite blue-haired door.